Yep.
I'm not saying that, okay, by putting a smile on your face and waving, you can cure cancer. It's not,
No.
it's not going to happen. Like,
No.
I'm being realistic too in this video, you know. I'm talking about changing a demeanor that maybe you haven't been before.
Right.
So you faking being okay when everybody knows something's up with you is not the way to go about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ray.
And this is Max.
And this is Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts, where we give you great advice, great stories, sometimes a little bit of fun and games, and great drink. Segues perfect into, Max, what are you drinking today?
We're drinking the summer vacation. We'll have the curd right on top, and we'll teach you how to make it.
So what this drink is it's going to be a lot of Malibu. Then you got some great juices in there. So like Max said, we'll show you.
A lot of Malibu indeed.
A lot of Malibu. Topic for today is staying positive. A little bit of advice for you today. So I'm gonna let Max go ahead. What's our first point on this, Max?
The first point is really the first point would be to make sure that you understand where the bad is coming from in order for you to actually get to the point of staying positive. So is it your job? Is it how you feel? Is it something that you can modify? Is it your environment or whatnot? Because that goes a long way to determine whether you can take actually a spin to it, meaning like you have a situation that you might consider bad, but it might actually be a good thing because you're not looking at the right side of the coin, or is it really something that you need to change in order for you to have a positive outcome to it?
100%, but I mean, things get fucking serious these days. Like, you know, we've got COVID-19 we're dealing with, murder hornets, you know, everything that went down with obviously George Floyd, and you know, it's wild out there. So I mean, if we're making a video and we're telling people, hey, you gotta spin everything, or how do you spin how you're feeling in such a negative moment? Like, for instance, when Kobe and Gigi died in a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
How do you just spin that and say, oh well, you know, I got to make a change and feel positive?
Well, I think one of the things that people realize a lot with the loss of those lives and RIP to all the families and whatnot, is it showed that, hey, you don't know anything about tomorrow, and that it's very important to like talk to your loved ones, tell them you love them, because you never know when they're gonna go. You never know when maybe they'll end up somewhere where you won't have access to them, and then that's a positive thing. Obviously, it's sad that it has to come from like tragedy, but there's always a spin to it. Not necessarily the event that happened or a situation, but then you can look at it a different way and then not feeling bad. Because like the worst thing you can do obviously is to just say, hey, well, this is bad, and then obviously now
roll with the negative. Continue to be negative.
Right.
So brings me to my second point kind of on this topic. Like, I think it's important for you to kind of project a good vibe out there. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said, sometimes that's very hard to do. In a lot of these cases, you know, you're feeling some kind of way, and if you're like me, who's super emotional most times, you wear that on your sleeve.
Right.
But you got to remember how the universe works, right? You get out what you put in terms of if you're putting in a lot of negative energy, or you're hyping people up, or you know, you're on a message board right now on the internet trolling people, even though you know they're hurting.
Right.
Because you're like, okay, it's not necessarily my side, but you know, I'm gonna just throw a little bit of fuel on the fire and start a fucking like incite a riot or something like that.
Yeah.
Those people are anarchists, and there's always going to be people that are there trying to be anarchists and pushing your buttons and trying to break down communication lines between you and, you know, your fellow members of society.
Absolutely.
But you know, you got to put out a good positive message yourself, and you got to put out a good vibe. People instantly realize what that vibe is, and they'll understand, okay, well, you know, Max is just a positive person, so I want to be around him. I'm not influenced by, like, you know, the toxic negativity that might come out of Max if it was on the other side, you know?
Right, absolutely.
And then they don't need to be around you, or they've cut you out of their circle, and you're like, oh my gosh, why? Why did this happen to me, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, most people, I would say, are gifted in the sense that they can read people's energies and read people's vibes pretty quickly. If you're over here and you're trying to make the most of every situation, and you're trying to take advantage of good opportunities that come towards you, and you're just treating everybody with respect, and more importantly, you're just being genuinely like a nice person throughout in all the actions that you do, whether it's going to work, whether it's interacting with your family, whether it's just walking down the street, you wave to a neighbor that you maybe seen 3-4 times over the course of living there.
I have to do that more often.
But I mean, then everybody's going to have that opinion of you, and all it costs you was a wave.
Yeah, no.
Or a smile,
That's exactly it. I mean, to put it really simply, and you got great points, it's just like, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated, really. Because on the flip side, if you're treating people bad, and you touch on like people trolling online, and that's the funny thing to me is because those people that are trolling online, like, and there's going to be a lot of it obviously with the events that are going on right now, once they have a cause or maybe something positive that they want to put out in the world, and then people will remind them that, hey, you remember you were trolling on this, and then now they'll troll on your stuff, and then now they feel some type of way. But it's like, it's because you actually had the energy out that was negative, and then now it's just coming back full circle.
So I mean, like, to reiterate, we're talking today about staying positive, right?
Yeah.
Another way I would suggest to go about it is, you avoid kind of the whole fake okay, if you will.
What do you mean by that?
So fake okay is basically, there's a meme that goes around where the girl's like, people are going to ask you how you're doing, and you have to just you have to just tell them that you're fine even though you're not fine and everything like that. But avoid being fake okay. If you're feeling some kind of way and it's negative, or you're angry about events that have happened to you recently or in the past or anything like that, you're allowed to feel how you feel. Our topic today is staying positive, because we're saying the more positive you are, the more positive the results, and the universe is going to basically reward you for that.
Correct.
Yep. I'm not saying that, okay, by putting a smile on your face and waving, you can cure cancer. It's not.
No.
It's not going to happen. Like,
no.
I'm being realistic too in this video. I'm talking about changing a demeanor that maybe you haven't been before.
Right.
So you faking being okay when everybody knows something's up with you is not the way to go about it. And you being unwilling to basically change, if you will.
Yep.
You being unwilling to change and take the steps necessary to kind of get into that positive framework. For some people this is obviously much more difficult than others. Like, I'm not coming after anybody that's like got a mental health issue or anything like that.
Right.
But you're gonna have a way harder time in terms of taking those steps to change kind of what's affecting your mood versus somebody else.
Yep.
But it's all about attitude, and I would say that's the big takeaway from this video.
Yep.
It's about being able to have the proper attitude and be willing to take a step or be willing to take a leap towards being positive or doing something in a positive manner that maybe would have broke your comfort zone before.
Yep.
But your attitude is, I'm comfortable breaking that comfort zone now,
Yeah, I mean, it's a big point, because I think you didn't touch on that, but I'll add to your point, which is it's a lot of energy to fake something. Yeah. It's a lot of, like, you really have to put yourself in a scenario. It's almost like you're putting yourself in like a prop, and then you're behind a green wall, and then you're like, okay, well, my life is so perfect.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't help with like social media and whatnot. So instead, take that energy to like make sure that at the very least you get the first step of actually being positive about waking up, being positive, as silly as it sounds, like making your bed and whatnot, and all those things will like be building blocks in order for you to be positive. And then once good things are happening, there's kind of like a snowball effect. But again, it's really just, where do you put your energy? Because like, why would you want to like focus your energy on showing people you're okay? And it doesn't mean that you have to share your problems to everyone, but I mean, find a friend, find help, professional help.
Great.
As we spoke on a different video before. So yeah, take the energy for you, because I mean, there's no point of the world watching or you know, your close friends being around, and then oh yeah, like Max is okay, and then like I'm there like crying in the corner every night.
for
Like,
sure.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, you hear it all the time. People that everybody says, "Oh my gosh, this person or that person, they were so great. They were smiling all the time, and
Yeah.
every time they were smiling, I had no idea that they'd go home and like do something,
Right.
And I think we're at the age now where we've all heard of a story like that, even if it hasn't affected you directly or that tragedy has affected you directly. But
Right.
I want to say this, right, on that third point.
Yeah.
Change is not always easy. Sometimes it takes multiple tries and multiple failures. And you need to be comfortable being willing to fail, right, in changing to make sure that you're growing as a human being, right?
Absolutely.
And
Big point.
we're defining growth right now as like obviously doing it in the most positive aspect, like something that's best for you. I mean, you hear it all the time, right? With if it's a hair dye box or if it's like a Crest white strip, or if you will, sorry, these are examples, right? Of change, right?
Right.
And you see the color that you want. Let's say you want to go platinum blonde, and on the back of the box, the first thing it says is, okay, well, even though this is a platinum blonde color, and that's your end result, you can't get to it if you're red hair. You can't get to it if you're dark brown hair. But if you're just a shade off of blonde, oh yeah, you're gonna be platinum blonde, no problem.
Yeah.
Crest white strips is the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can buy these Crest white strips. I can whiten my teeth, and then they'll be, I don't know, like salt, basically, like that color.
I mean, you can't use them all and then expect. Yeah, within a day, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean this white colored wall behind us, right? You're buying them and you're like, okay, if I use this whole pack, I'm gonna get there. And then they have the whitening guide that they put in the box, and they're like, hey, results may vary. If you drink, you smoke, and you drink coffee every day, yeah, it's not gonna happen overnight for you. Mm-hmm. So you have to try multiple times, and that's why I'm saying you're not always necessarily going to get the result that you want right away, right? Some people are gonna get a lot different feedback in different scenarios, sometimes quicker, sometimes slower, and you can't get discouraged by that either. If you see somebody else really taking off in terms of changing who they are, or they're that friend from high school and you're like, oh my god, wow, you're so successful and everything, you can't be the negative Nancy, we'll call it, and be dwelling on the fact that this person's so successful or this person's accomplished so much more at an age that you are, and get into this whole comparison thing. You're great for the reasons that make you great.
Yep.
He's great for the reasons that make him great. I'm great for the reasons that make me great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay fucking positive.
Yep, and then to add to your point, and it's a great point, invite that person for coffee. Get some advice from them. If they're successful, maybe they're doing something that you're not. They maybe have an habit, like there's something there that you can learn. And then if they're not willing to do it, no problem. There's a bunch of people.
At least you reached out. Exactly.
At least you reached out. At least you can say, okay, well, fuck that person, But at least you tried, and at least you try to be positive. Because I mean, sometimes you need a mentor, and not necessarily somebody that's just like, I'm just know-it-all, but somebody that might have like a different perspective on things.
Exactly. And you know what? There's a bunch of people leverage within your community. Just make sure that they're the right ones themselves.
Yep.
They're not helping you kind of bury yourself more at home or into the pillow of your bed versus getting you out of the house.
Exactly.
All right. So on that note, nice talking with me today, Max.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Absolutely.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers,
Good
man.
talk.
Yeah, good. Still a great drink.
So if you're new to the channel, I'm Ray.
This is Max.
And this is Drunk Words, Drunk Thoughts, where we give you advice, stories, a little bit of fun and games sometimes, and obviously great drinks like this, the summer vacation. There's going to be a link down below at the end of the video. Go ahead and click on it. Mm-hmm. What we'd invite you to do now is to like, comment, leave a comment, let us know if maybe something we talked about in this video can positively affect your life. And don't forget to, what do we do to the bell?
We hit the bell. Let's go.
We hit the bell, guys. And guess what? We're a